Daniel Riccardo will return to the F1 grid with AlphaTauri after replacing Nyck de Vries with immediate effect. The 34-year-old Australian has been loaned out by Red Bull, for whom he was serving as third driver to their junior team for the remainder of his one-year contract. Having waited for a long time for an opportunity in F1, the former Mercedes reserve driver de Vries has been dropped just 10 races into his rookie season. I'm very pleased to welcome Daniel back to the team. AlphaTauri team principal Franz Tost said there's no doubt about his driving skills, and he already knows many of us, so his integration will be easy and straightforward. The team will also profit a lot from having the experience, as he is an 8-time Grand Prix winner. The decision to send Riccardo to AlphaTauri comes after he made a positive impression on Tuesday, driving for RB19 Red Bull in their first time tyre test at Silverstone. Riccardo was considered one of the top drivers in the sport when he ended his first stint with Red Bull in 2018, but failed to reproduce that form in spells with Renault and McLaren before being released at the latter end of the 22 season. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner said it's great to see Daniel hasn't lost any form while away from racing, and that strides have been made in the sim sessions to translate onto the track. His times during the test were extremely competitive. It's very impressive to see, and we're excited to see what he can do at AlphaTauri on loan for the rest of the season. Riccardo's decision to take up the opportunity to join AlphaTauri, who were last in Constructors' Championships, comes somewhat of a surprise given his previous insistence in that he only wants to return to the grid competing at the front, and he'll make his return at the Hungarian Grand Prix next weekend. Riccardo added, I'm stoked to be back on track with the Red Bull family. And yeah, you really think the reason he's taken this seat is to eye up a potential future opportunity with Red Bull, as Perez out of form. So much at the moment, pressure really ramps up on him. But for De Vries, a torrid debut campaign in which he sits last in driver's standing and without a point comes to a premature end. De Vries, at the time serving as Mercedes reserve driver, delivered a hugely impressive performance at last year's Italian Grand Prix when stepping up to replace an unwell Alex Albon on short notice. He qualified 8th before taking 9th in the race to secure a rare point scoring finish for Williams, and in that process put himself in the frame for several seats that were available for 2023. The 28-year-old ended up at AlphaTauri but failed to live up to expectations, being comprehensively outperformed by Yuki Tsunoda. I would like to thank Nyck for his valuable contributions during his time as Scudero AlphaTauri and wish him the best for the future, Toss said. While the decision to end his debut campaign so early is undoubtedly harsh, as pressure grew on De Vries in recent weeks. There was little as a sign of improvement in qualifying and finishing the bottom 3 in each of his own last 3 races. De Vries has been proven to be an adequate test reserve driver for an F1 team, but his prospects of getting another race seat in the near future would of course appear bleak. It's a tough one on De Vries, who was in that car at 28 years old, and yeah, he's faced questions about it. He's been coming out of the line that he believes in the Red Bull team, the extended Red Bull team. We have to remember the AlphaTauri, with whom he's just lost the seat, is Red Bull's junior team. Christian Horner and Dr. Helmut Marko had the final say on who raced in that car, and it seemed for a while now that it seemed to have been under threat. It's fascinating that Riccardo comes back on the day he tested last year's car at Silverstone. That's what he's been in F1 machinery since the end of last year, and it'd be interesting to see he does. And talking about being stoked to join the family, 1 or 2 people have said that he's interested in accepting driving for AlphaTauri again. This is his first full-time F1 drive, but he's gone on to win 8 Grand Prix since. He's been a lead driver and one of the best paid in F1, earning a salary in excess of £30 million when he drove for Renault. But he then had a difficult time with McLaren when he didn't adjust the car and was way off Lando Norris, even though he won the race. And they were prepared to then go for Oscar Piastri. Riccardo at the end of the last season looked like he'd lost his mojo a bit. By his own admission, he thought he'd go away, recharge the batteries, and clearly he's done that. In Miami, he was talking about wanting to get on a grid next year. He's come back halfway through the season, so why does it make sense? Could he be driving for AlphaTauri next year? That's a team which is transitioning from a more independent setup to a team which will make as many parts as possible from Red Bull for next season. They're going to be much more closely affiliated with them and take all the car parts possible. They've also got a new team principal coming in. Peter Bauer explained that maybe they're just running junior drivers. It might make sense to get a young driver and someone experienced like Daniel Ricciardo who can really grow with them. So yeah, it's very interesting to see where it goes and how it plays out in the long term too. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and it's all coming over daily F1 news. Subscribe for the channel, greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.